Hello. Oh, my cat. A bit. Can we see my pretty face? No. Pretty face? Too white. Ah, I'm in. We're here. We're all set. We're all good to go. And why is there a blank screen? You weren't blank a second ago. You were working fine. Anyways, hi. Welcome back to Australian branding, English, with me, Graham. And we're having our game day on Saturdays. So today we will be playing The Pale Beyond, which you need to give me 2 seconds because for some reason my bad, has decided that it doesn't want to work. Still not working. It was showing it a second ago. Well, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm having terrible trouble because yes. So let's see if it works now. Come on, don't be a dick. It seems to have worked. It seems to have come back. We're live. We're live. Live. I tell you. So yeah, today we'll be playing The Pale Beyond. So it is as noted, a resource management survival game where your crew gets trapped in the ice on its way to the Antarctic. And you have to manage your resources, which are food and burnable materials, to make sure that you don't starve or freeze to death. You also have to manage crew happiness as well. And there's a cool story. Now, I'd already started one, but I'm going to restart all over again. What's that button do? Continue, settings, extras, episode 1, get public. Okay, whatever. I'm going to start all over again. So I do know some of the stuff that's going to happen, but I don't remember the choices I made. I remember a couple, which probably not going to be because they're the ones I remember. Select a week to prune and delete. Okay, well. Anyways, let's go. Let's try again. We'll just be playing it through on normal. A normal balanced game. So that's our crew that we'll be looking after. Confirm. Oh, the air bees cold. Oh, the air bees cold of flake and white, as a sailor begs their pledge. To the ice they'll pray that leads reveals some charted course ahead. Of homes they'll dream of warmth long lost and chased to frostwood's edge. A hunger draws the desperate here. Such lonely souls need lead. What will ye do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll lead these souls, so help the gods, out of the pale beyond. Begin your journey. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. Glory to be had in the event of a success. You're alone in the office. The tea in your hand has long since gone cold. It's perfectly adequate. Then again, I prefer hot chocolate, but that's me. Looking around the room, you can make out a collection of military books. On the desk is a ship in a bottle. The metronome ticks away steadily. I find it rather charming. The dedicated rhythm soothes the senses. It stops. Keep waiting. You hear footsteps climbing the stairs that brought you here. The door behind you swings open. The captain bounds past you to the other side of the desk. Do you have all your teeth? You bare your teeth, the man. Good. Can never be too careful. The captain sits down. It's the little things you can lose people to. Not had scurvy before, if that's what you're asking. There's more things to worry about than just scurvy. How many people have died under your supervision? More than I'd care to admit. Can you remember their faces? Every single one. Please take a seat. Thank you. Thank you. The chair is uncomfortably large. The seat feels warm. I'm Captain Hunt. The pleasure is mine, Robin Shaw. On your desk, what is that ship? Oh, it's detailed, isn't she? Incredibly. An old sailor superstition. I hope you weren't waiting too long. It's fine. There's been a lot of candidates. Some good, some bad. Interesting mix. I'm sure you understand the need for discretion. Seems a bit convoluted for a sailing job. I'm not in the habit of trumpeting my work to every would-be sailor on the street. I need to know if you're right for the job first. He looks down at his list of questions. Were you born a landlubber or a sea dog? Where am I from? Saltborn. Saltborn. The ocean, the same as yourself. I'm saltborn and bred. Military experience? Evading them. Sailed the merchant lines 12 years. Royal Admiralty. Colonel. Royal Admiralty. 2 tours. Under what circumstances did you leave? Honorably. Well, with no stewards to wipe your ass out here, you'd best get used to doing that yourself. Have you ever fired a weapon? Yes. Have you ever killed a man directly or otherwise? Yes. I see. You're not married, are you? Of course not. Better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving in the first place. Any less, and you're doing yourself a disservice. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. That didn't deter you, did it? The opposite. Good work is hard to come by these days. Indeed. A venture like this, however, it's about more than just the money, isn't it? Oh. So where are we headed? To find a ship in that bottle. I was gonna send a message. Give me 2 seconds. Copy that. Annoying my friends. Get somebody in. At least somebody else watching if they want to. But hey, all good. Sorry about this. The Viscount. Heard of it? This is some kind. No, enlighten me. He clears his. 5 years ago, she set sail on a research expedition towards the Dead Peninsula. They were trying to find and study the absolute magnetic south. Did they? Did they what? Did they complete their research? Oh, yes. I have no idea. She never came back. The last known location was 200 miles south of land, presumed lost in the ice. 5 years is a bit late for a rescue operation. They're probably already dead. Alive or not, their research is supposedly of extreme importance. And we're supposed to be chasing that research. We're supposed to be chasing that research? Exactly. Rumors about lost ships if I'm putting my life. I'm going to need more than rumors about lost ships if I'm putting my life at risk. Naturally, but what here's what we know. Not one person or thing has been heard from the Viscount since it first left port. Until now? Until now. Someone was found who claims to have been on that ship. Can I speak to them? No, they're dead, but their testimony seems to have outlived them. Those with more money than sense want that old ship. That's the job. If I don't pick the first mate, somebody else will. And, well, my judge of character's gotten me this far. What of our crew? Quite the mix, a work in progress. Some I've known for years, they get in on trust and experience. Others, well, they interview. Any impress you? That remains to be seen. What we do have transport, though. We'll be travelling on board the Temperance. She's a beauty, Greenwood, generational. Not many like it left these days. The Viscount and the Temperance. Their sister ships, built together, sent out in this world to die alone. Poetic. Indeed. I like to think one calls out for the other. The captain looks at the bottled ship. So, what do you think? Sounds like you'll need all the help you can get. We will. Except to be more like a pocket watch. Anyway, I think I've heard enough. The captain stands up. We leave in a month. Welcome aboard, Shaw. Proverbially speaking. Expected. And what did you expect? We're more than our mistakes, Robin. Let people surprise you. I'll see you on the Temperance. I've got a good feeling about you, Shaw. Thank you, Captain. Captain makes his way to the door, and you follow. You arrive at the docks a month to the day. Before you lies a ship. The letters on the side reads Temperance. You walk the couple to the boarding ramp. Besides is a sharply dressed man overseeing the loading of cargo. He turns to you with a stern expression. You feel his eyes assessing you. Military Gant, you must be Hunt's pick for first. Military Gant. What a weird voice should I do for the Military Gant? You must be Hunt's pick for first mate. Nope. I'm not sure what that for. A military. Ready to do that? A military Gant. You must be Hunt's pick for first mate. I figured I'd keep it in the rank. He'd keep it in the ranks. Good man. Extends an arm. Richard Templeton. A pleasure. You accept his offer of a handshake. It's a considered handshake. I shall be operating as Chief Science Officer on this expedition. I'm also the incumbent representative of our benefactor. Do, however, consider myself and my team at you and the captain's disposal. What do you specialize in? Applied botany. Mr. Templeton, I look forward to working together. I expect you to be up for the task. Some of the layabouts Hunt hired are questionable at best. I think I'm just doing the same accent for everyone. No doubt I need to inform you. No, that's different. No doubt I need to inform you of your duties. You're second only to the Captain Hunt himself. Though I must warn you that you have quite the task ahead. The rabble I've spent the afternoon sorting are the same that you'll have to whip into shape. Punctuality, schedule, a strict adherence is what we need if this expedition is to succeed. Expect you to be organized, George. You would not have been assigned the role otherwise. More than enough experience with a crew of this nature. That is comforting to hear. I would seem for most of the crew the captain favoured personal history over expertise. It is good to know he found the capable sort for such a vital role. Let me know when you are ready to depart. I'm certain you're eager to be back on the ocean. The less valuable time we waste here, the better. You'll be gone for quite a while. It'll be some time before you see the city again. The young man stands at the ramp, steeling himself for the journey ahead. Hesitantly, he begins to drag his feet up the ramp and onto the ship. Hunt's description of the ship was accurate, near identical to the Viscount, bearing some modern additions. Week 1 on the Temperance. It's been a month. First Mate Shaw personal log. It's been 1 month since I signed on, and 1 week since we've set sail aboard the Temperance. I'm told the waters will be getting warmer as we pass the hemisphere before they turn colder. The Admiralty had nothing like this. She's the a technical marvel, elegant machinery, expertly weaved through one of the fastest hardwood ships of its day, reborn for this mission, breathing again with life. She's simply magnificent. I can't help but wonder who's footing the bill for all this. Certainly not the captain. Such exquisite modifications to the ship mustn't have come cheap. I intend to investigate further. As for its master, he mostly keeps to his quarters so far. I need to know if I can trust Captain Hunt. He's not telling the whole truth. I mustn't let my enigmatic, indeed, I mustn't let my guard down. As for the rest, there are now 22 of us, including the captain. Our next port will be our last before we enter the ice, to pick up the remaining 4 members of the crew. The scouting team. Hunt is also keen to work out a deal on a pack of sled dogs. Crew are a strange lot, eclectic as the ship itself. One of Hunt's sailors approaches. Captain wants to see you at the helm. Good. I want to see him. He leaves. Crow's Nest currently stands unoccupied. The scouting team are expected to join at the next port. Shut. Is it the helm? Appears to be locked. Send the stairs to the stern and find the old captain manning the helm of the ship. Ah, Robin, a lovely day for it, isn't it? It is indeed, Captain. Indeed. Days like these, I make sure to do my share of the sailing, he winks. He thinks for a moment before stepping aside and stretches out a wrinkled hand. Did you ever take the helm in the Admiralty? Never felt right not to for me. Here, why don't you have a try? Take the wheel. You grip the wheel of the ship and feel the weight of the waves in your arms. Memory in your muscles rear themselves as you begin to move in time with the ship and the wind. Easy. There. You have it. The captain pats you on the back. Fantastic. Now try to get a sense of where we are. Get some perspective. Peaceful, isn't it? Takes the wheel back from you. I think I'll drink the morning in a little longer. Would you mind preparing my quarters for the day's work? There's much to do. His tub secured to the floor. Classical painting depicting sailors doing battle with a kraken. Ode to an old folk story of the great Captain Seamus dance with the Salt Kings. Desk you make, as well as the sealed letter with a stamp you don't recognize. The desk itself is suspended with ropes to keep it safely in place. Take a seat at the end of the room. Captain joins you. Now let's run through our provisions before taking requests. To start, there's 23 souls signed onto this expedition, souls included. That's 16 free to be assigned to tasks if there aren't any, if they aren't already busy. The rest are deployed to their permanent stations. Picking up the scouting crew at next port. The lot of us also seem to be in good spirits. With enough provisions for at least 6 months in case of emergency. More than enough fuel to see us there and back. The sledding dogs, well, they're still a matter of negotiation. Now, on to work. Doggo! Mr. Doggo, have you agreed upon my conditions? To the point, eh? Sure, this is Lady Cordell. Cordell here is to provide us with a kennel of hounds for the sleds, and our agreement was that she would train them up until we part ways at the nearest island. But you neglected to inform me that you were bringing my dogs through the Pale Passage. I had no intention of sending the pack to its death. You seem to have good faith in this expedition. It's one thing to ask for my whole kennel, it's another to drag them into the ice to chase a myth. Never before has a buyer been so dishonest, and never before has a seller made such strong demands. Lady Cordell, a moniker given to me by the locals of the city, on account of her vernacular. I find it odd that you seem to have researched me as much as you have my kennel. I like to know who I'm negotiating with. Regardless, sure, she demands we allow her to come along on the expedition as a member of the crew. None of the ship have the experience and familiarity with these dogs that I possess. If you are taking them to such a brutal location, they will need me to guide them if they have any chances of survival. Humans on board too, of course. Of course. You can see my dilemma, sure. Bringing on another member of this crew of the crew is a risk, but our hands may be tied. Your thoughts? I don't see any harm in having an expert on sled dogs? A good point. Sure. This deal is already to your benefit. Do you have anyone aboard with extensive training in the management of ruling and the ruling of dogs? Your sleds are useless if you can't control the dogs efficiently enough to haul them. I would like to ensure my dogs are treated properly. Welcome aboard, Cordell. Your knowledge should prove valuable. Invaluable. I'll have a room prepared for you below deck. No need. You'll find me in the forecastle with the dogs. I hope I'm not making a mistake, Shaw. Sailor enters. We found a stowaway in the lower hold. Bring them in. The sailor enters, leading a young man by their side. You know, you're not the first stowaway I've had. Captain studies them further. You know where we're heading, don't you? I do, sir. The ice. Did you know that before you climbed inside that crate? I did, sir. Ah, how old are you? You're hardly a useful pair of hands. Not true. I can pull my weight, sir. Do you know your jibbin from your bowsprit? I do, sir. I learned it all from my da. Your da? His ward son followed him aboard back in the city. What should we do with him, Cam? Well, sure. And first mate, what should we do with him? It's your decision to make, not mine. But I would like to hear your opinion. What sort of captain would I be if I didn't accept consultation? I'd keep them aboard. Why? He's clearly here because his father. It'd be wrong to separate them again. All right, boy. Consider yourself part of the crew. Be sure to keep your nose clean and follow orders. I will, thank you, sir. Captain. Not, sir. Aye, Captain. The stowaway joins the sailors below deck, now a member of the crew. Well, it seems the litter has a new runt. I hope the rest won't mind sharing their rations. What of the father? I doubt he intended this to happen. We'll keep an eye on them both. I suppose you're right. Well, the matter's sorted. Now that that's all settled, could you grab the Stroke brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair. You couldn't mistake them for another. Do you require me for this meeting? No, this is a matter for the first son need. This is not a matter the first officer need concern themselves with. They'll be down on the middle deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. On closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasha Belford, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera, lining up a photo. Snapping a shot, she clambers down, only noticing you on her landing. Oh, Officer Shaw. It's about time I met the first officer of this ship. Kasha Belford. Belford. I think they're all going to be Scottish. Or Irish, whichever the two it is. Nice to meet you, Kasha. I suppose there was some sort of a rule against what I was doing up there. Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you just can't pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasia Belford won the Fetler Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. Her accomplishments, or inexperience in it, is a matter of interest, but her accolades speak for themselves. The cold game. Picture that as a header. For the piece on this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. Nobody will read it if the title sounds like the work of an amateur. Creative time. I'm not the creative type. I'm sure you'd know better. Cash tilts her head and grits her teeth, holding an inner debate with herself. Maybe not, but how about Hunter's incredible voyage? Too fantastical? I suppose I'll find the right name when the time comes. I'm getting ahead of herself, aren't I? Apologies, I'm just a little excited. I've never been on a voyage like this. I suppose someone of your experience finds it all boring at this point. A trip to the ice may seem dull compared to the Royal Admiralty. You know who I am? Of course, I thoroughly researched the crew of the Temperance. May seem somewhat excessive, but I feel it's necessary for a proper chronicle. That and plenty of pictures. Don't worry, sure, you don't have a reputation that sets you apart from the rest. A celebrity like Kurt Darling's presence will dwarf any rumours that could form around you. That reminds me, he'll be joining us at the next port. I should get his picture at some point. Kasia holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to her face. Stand still, sure. How long do they take to develop? Only a day or two. I've made a makeshift darkroom in the hold. Speaking of photographs, she hands you an annotated document. Here it is, the crew manifest. It's a work in progress. The scout team are to join us at the next port, and the captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. Don't want to leave anyone out. Thank you, Kasia. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers anyhow. Safe shots, officer. Don't worry. You leave her to. It's what a large man with a youthful gait carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with a relative is. Oh, your officer, sure. He gives a bright, warming smile. 2 Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname later. 2 Johns attempts to offer a handshake but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Ah, maybe later. Work awaits. It's locked, preparing the room inside. One of the crew, a red-headed man with a thick beard, sits proud playing an ivory accordion. He spots you and ceases his playing. Need something? Nice accordion. Do you mind if I see it? The accordion player takes a step back as you approach. You can see it from there, no touching. Just looking for the Stoke brothers. Emergency? Just a meeting with Hunt. We're speaking to one of them. Grimly Stoke. We'll head up after dinner. You can go now. Man gestures to the cook across the room before resuming his playing. We have their meal. It passes in relative silence. We return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But Dar, your lucky hunt didn't throw you overboard. Half a mind to do that myself. Come on, Dar. I'm here to help. Better know that involves work. Ooh, my biggest fan is here. Woo! The big fans. Don't expect special treatment. I won't. You're an impossible child, Timmy. You spot one of Templeton's science team pacing around the middeck, searching through some luggage that has been pulled from a cabin. Look me in the light. Where is it now? He notices you. Officer Shaw, correct. Dwight Glossley. Apologies, I've misplaced something while settling into the cabin. A bottle of wine, actually. Be hard to miss. It'll turn up eventually. I would hope so. My wife and I bought a bottle to celebrate with, to be safe for the journey back, of course. Well, if you find it, please let me know. Yeah. Up we go. Ocean. As you look over the railing of the ocean, a wisp of smoke flies past your face. You turn to examine and spot a sailor with a pipe in his mouth and a sheet of paper in his hand, overlooking the stirring waters. Looking at something? Spare tobacco? I don't share. Tashi. After introducing himself, Tashi falls silent, begins to read the letter. Trying to draw conversation from him may be similar to extracting teeth. Spot Templeton looking out into the sunset as you approach. He turns and nods to you. Ah, Officer Shaw. It will be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution towards the southern pole is quite the change. It will be quite some time before we return home. Indeed. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflection of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There is great expectation upon us, officer. Are you feeling the pressure, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Templeton? I cannot afford to. We all have to keep our focus. Templeton looks down, catching his reflection in the ocean's surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight, but I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We should retire for the evening. It's important the first officer be well rested. I'm going to do a naughty thing and know that you can get away with it a little bit at the start because you don't really need to. They'll be a bit unhappy, but there's ways to make them happier afterwards. And you can save some food and make the game a little easier later on. Oops, didn't realize that pissed him off. They're back. Week 2, 2 weeks on the Temperance. There's a rap at your door. Come in. The door swings open to reveal Kurt Darling, all but filling its frame, grinning ear to ear. There you are, Officer Shaw. The ship's navigator is a difficult man to miss. Stature and reputation precede him. Adorned with a slew of apparatus, this seemingly one-man expedition would be known to anyone following the heyday of exploration and the merchandising that followed. It's an honor, really, a wealth of invaluable experience in such hostile environments. I wonder he's not been swept up to some other post. Hiding away from the rest of us, are you? Are you always this early to rise? These days I tend to enjoy a good lie-in, but not during an expedition. You know what they say of early birds and worms. Apologies for not stopping by sooner, sure. I took a while to set up my team, and a great deal of the crew were quite eager to meet me. That's right, you're something of a celebrity, aren't you? I take that to mean you haven't heard of me before. Well, that is a pleasant surprise. There aren't many who haven't seen my films, particularly in this line of work. More than one fellow on this crew said my work inspired them to explore the world. Quite the honor, isn't it? Crew don't seem to be this film-going type. Well, yes, most were born in the sea to begin with, but it's good to know even those old films can inspire. I suppose I did get distracted, didn't I? Anyway, I was hoping you'd join me up on deck. Of course, but why? Well, we've finally entered the pack. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself. I'll be right behind you, Kurt. Kurt turns to walk away before turning back. Oh, and enjoy your morning. It is a good day, sure. Ah! You note one of the science team returning to their room. Ah, Miss Gloss, did you have a good rest? She nods to you. Ah, hello. I did not expect any to be up this early. Harriet Glossley. I believe I've met your husband. Ah, yes, Dwight made mention of your encounter. He's still fast asleep. He's adjusted to the ship well. I believe a walk around the ship would help acclimate myself to the waves. Perhaps it will make some more time. With that, Miss Gloss makes her way back to the cabin. The science team aren't used to the sea or the sailor folk. Quite the culture clash, isn't it? Well, I'm sure they'll grow used to them over time. Ha! Seems the good doctor isn't in, or perhaps enjoying his sleep. You are yet to come across the ship's doctor, even after all this time. Many of the crew are still fast asleep, laying in hammocks. Best not disturb them, sure. You don't want to find yourself dealing with an abruptly awoken sailor? Let us head up deck. The sound of snoring is rather obnoxious. Stern, you notice an old sailor at the helm. The old man takes in a deep breath in the cool air before letting out a satisfied exhale. Morning. Good morning to you. He eyes you up and down. Officer Shore, right? Lefty. Call me that on account of, well, should be obvious. He chuckles. Don't worry about the bad sight. This is all feeling. Just keeping her steady. Examines you. Surprised Hunt picked from an outside for his first play. I'm surprised as well. He seems the insular type. He is. It must be something special for Hunt to look outside the ranks. Hunt doesn't have much fondness for the military, but it at least means you've got the work ethic. Mornings like these are the only peace I get from the younger lot. You should take these moments where you can. Lefty returns his attention to the helm. As you get older, I suppose you learn the value of quiet moments, eh? Let's hope we're just as diligent when we're as old and grey. Myself before you, of course. Join Kurt at the bow of the ship. You both feel the temperance break the floes before you. Gripping the railing, he draws in a moment's breath. The footing beneath rises as the ship mounts an impending ice float. There's a moment's hesitation before a profound crack relieves, reviles, I don't know how to pronounce that. Relieves? Crack relieves the ship, cascading across the ice. I don't know, it just didn't seem right. He exhales. See, nothing else like it. You weren't wrong. It's something. All right. Look at that ice. No two cracks are the same. caused by us. By the laws of nature, this place wants us dead. And yet, here we are, traversing in harmony. How fantastic is that? How far away from land? We're about a week's sail from the last known location of the old Viscount. Assuming she isn't exactly where they left her, we can take smooth sailing we can't take smooth sailing for granted. Same goes for this daylight. It won't remain this bright for so long once winter encroaches. Beautiful as the ice is on this course, it's going to get thicker. He looks across the white. We won't be so confident when the leads dry up and we're stuck here till the next cycle. We need to change course, avoid the pack. Have you informed Captain Hunt? It's not my decision. I have enough supplies if it comes to that. Have you informed Captain Hunt? He won't listen to me. He thinks I've dulled by retirement. I've probably seen more ice than he has whiskey. It's not my decision. Yes, but you have the captain's ear. You ever experienced the long night winter? It's not pleasant, to say the least. Comes to that, we'll adapt. There's a chain of command. This isn't one of your adventures, sir. I can't say that I have. We're only as good as the unhappiest man, Robin. I'll do what I can. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Kurt nods and turns back to look across the ice. Ah, sure. Ready for another day of work? Did you hear Kurt? He wants to switch course. Aye, he had a few words to share. He may have been an expert in his time, but these days Kurt is with more money than sense. Anyway, back to work. I was hoping you'd help me work through a few more requests from the crew. You may have noticed the line pooling up outside. Everybody wants something, it seems. Call them in as you please. Corvid enters the office. Hunt, you asked for a report on how the stowaway was doing. I wanted to see if the young boy has been settling in well. He has indeed. It means another mouth to feed, but the boy works hard and doesn't ask much. He has his dad to guide him as well. I'm sure the boy's father is ecstatic. Worried sick, but happy, aye. Well, what do you know, sure. Perhaps we were right to keep the boy aboard. A short, sour-faced man in engineering clothing. Engineering clothing approaches. Are you deaf, Captain? Are you daft, Captain? Not with intention. Not bloody surprised you didn't notice. Sure, this is our chief engineer, Clive Hammond. An opinionated one. What is it, Hammond? We've hit the ice and you haven't assigned any extra men down on the boiler. You have an engineering team? Aye, and we've only got 6 arms between us. I need more manpower to maintain these sailors. Many of the crew have their own tasks they're busy with. I know I've already assigned Smurf on a matter. The captain turns to you. How many jobs do you think is fair? 1, 3? More! Open the crew manifest to choose how many sailors you wish to assign. You can take Tashi, 2 Johns, Corvin, and Joe. Take the men you need, Hammond. Aye, thank you, Captain. We'll keep the boiler alive through the ice. He leaves. A good-spirited one, that, beneath the oil and temper. You won't be seeing much of him, though. Prefers to burrow himself in the boiler room. Captain, sure. A thought occurred to me the other day while looking through the crew manifest, and, well, it might be too late for this now that we're already into the ice. Out with it. I thought it would be good to have individual photos of the crew. For your report? No, not only my report, it would be good for reference for the manifest. Put faces to names. Much of this crew have served me for years, some decades. I have little problem putting faces to names. Your thoughts? Sure. Be a good idea. If nothing else, it would make a waste of time. Nothing else, it would make for a good souvenir. Sentimental of this expedition, are you? Some proper photographs will have some historical weight to it. Well, Belfast, I see no problem with them. I'll arrange for the pictures to be taken before the crew have their dinner. Thank you, Captain Shaw. Captain Shaw. In the meantime, I'll attempt to get as many individual crew photos as I can. You're still welcome to help on that matter, Officer Shaw. She departs satisfied. Good to have all of that settled, then. Perhaps we shouldn't rule out old Kurt so easily. If the man thinks there could be an alternative path through the ice, he's free to search for it. Sure, meet with him when you have time. Changing course or not, we'll want one of his scouts set up on the crow's nest. Take care of that, then you'll be done for the day. Spot a youthful-looking man leaning over the side of the ship, his head slumped as he looks onto the icy pool below. It appears he's been visited by a spot of seasickness. You make your way to the man and reach out to pat the sickly fellow back. As soon as the hand touches him, he jolts upright in shock. A bespectacled young man shaking with unease. He stares at you for a brief moment, a look of shame plastered upon his face. Sorry. Are you all right? Yes. Well, not really. I'm very sorry. The man turns around and hurriedly runs in the opposite direction, avoiding your gaze. Send me up there. Get you a reading. The scientist eyes the man's cane and turns to you. I believe the navigator means you to send one of his scouts. The navigator clears his throat and tips his cane. Of course. I'll find you one of mine. They'll get us a reading rightly. While examining the rigging of the ship, your eyes notice a figure darting by, climbing on the ropes with ease. The figure lands on their feet before dusting themselves off. Their outfit denotes one of Kurt's scouting crew. Ah, no problems. She looks to you. And you are? Officer Shaw, yourself? Flick, I'm one of Kurt's crew. Don't worry about my safety. I know what I'm doing. Trust me. Kurt doesn't just hire anyone. Well, he didn't hire me for no reason. Got the medals in gymnastics if you're worried about the credentials. Flick jumps up and returns to the scaling the rigging of the ship. They ascend to the nest and take a reading with the sextants. All clear from up top! Last point you made where you picked up Kurt and the scouting team. The last known location of the Viscount, your destination. You overhear two of the newly arrived scouting crew talking. Hey, Quisley, have you trouble settling in? No, not too bad. I can wait for a chance to sleep, though. A proper navigator never rests until their work is done. Of course. I take it you had no issue settling in. Not at all. The crew are a funny lot. Oh, Kurt certainly caught their attention. Ah, do you think any of them would mistake Kurt and myself? I think you'd collapse from joy if they did. Ha, perhaps. The moment you enter the pantry, a bag of flour drops on your head, scattering all over the office. The hell's is that, gnomes? You wipe the flour off before continuing. Must be sure. Seems you've met my brother already. Yon stroke, but nobody calls me that. This ship I'm known as Junior. I take it you're the cook then? Aye, and a damn good one at that. Aye, one step ahead of me. If you add those tins to the hoosh, you should be good for dinner. Got anything for the hoosh? Read the hosh. Ha, sure, we'll toast to the ice. Aye. The days are getting longer, but dinner is fixed. It will see us through the long days and the darkest nights. The crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled, and in preparation for the evening, you can't help but notice that still bright light outside. You notice two sailors passing from the dinner to the table. An inebriated sailor on wobbly legs leaning on the shoulder of another. Good times, good times. Need to learn to handle your drink, Tucker. Aye, but I'm fine. My mates can carry me, a cavity. Then they can also drop you. Have two Johns carry you next time. Are you asleep? After knocking on the door several times, it finally swings open to reveal Timothy's silenced him. Yes, do you require my presence? Apologies, just checking. Just checking. You should know I'm the meteorologist of this Andrea Isaac. If I'm not required for anything, I ask you not to disturb me further. You hear two engineers chattering above deck, or rather, you overhear one engineer speaking with the other. Don't know how the chief could stay down there all evening. You ever see Mr. Hammond eat? I haven't. Maybe he doesn't even eat. Man's not human if he can't work all day and night. Not human if he can work all day and all night on that boiler. Probably doesn't sleep either. He probably sleeps. Aye, Dick, it's figurative. Right. The dogs regard her with rapt attention as she paces between them, bowl in hand. The largest joins her side as you approach. Try some. Burn your mouth on hot broth. Surprisingly tasty. Surprisingly palatable. You feel yourself warming up. You seem to enjoy it. I'm afraid there's only so much. If you want more, it'll be among the dog's leftovers. Penguin, some blubber, fats and proteins, fastest way to hydrate them. Was there something you needed? Just inspecting the animals. They belong here more than we do. Unlike us, they need the ice that cools them through their pores as they run. They'd overheat otherwise. You've been on the ice for a long time. A long time, yes. Who's that beside you? This is Stanberry. Strong animal. Very. They handle stress differently, adapt quickly. There's plenty to be learned from them. You love these animals. They need me, and you'll need them. You ruffle its head. It tries to lick the broth from your fingers. That's everybody. Everybody. Go ahead and shake your body. Yep. Another week passes. The temperance has finally entered the thick ice land. The days grow brighter. Week 3. 3 weeks on the temperance. 3 crew available. Chew the moment. Mr. Captain, take requests. Captain Hunt appears to be absent. His chair is unoccupied. The whole room shudders. Bloody hell was that? What in the... Well, I was worried about this. Look at the ice. We could be trapped here for a while. Strong pressures as we didn't have enough. Bother. Well, no need mucking around. Let's get to work. Where's Hunt? I'll grab him. I'm sure he felt it too. Sure, check the boiler room. I'm sure the mole man has problems of his own. Not to worry, everyone. We'll be free and moving again before you know it. Back to work. Officer Shaw, it would appear we have stopped. Curious. Hunt was warned of this pathway, was he not? Even I could see the risks, and yet an experienced sailor carried on. I wonder what goes through that man's head. You pet the pet. You pet it. You must always pet the puppies. Captain Shaw, what happened? Ship's come to a stop and I almost flung my camera into the wall. We didn't hit anything, did we? Have you seen Hunt? Not since this morning. He was going to speak with Grimley about the lifeboats, last I heard. Ship's stuck then. If you're looking for Hunt, you just missed him. How? We didn't cross paths. Don't ask me. I'm going to check with my brother. If I made any errors, I'd tell you. It's secure. Don't worry about it. Sure you're aware of what's happening, the situation, what's happening? I am ensuring that the boiler was not damaged in the sudden commotion. And I told you if it was, you'd know already. I'm not in the business of making mistakes. I'd know if the furnace goes, we'd go down with it. Yes, but you're only one man, with just a pair of engineers as assistants. Just looking at the number of valves, this seems far too much for you to handle. My bloody benefactor should have... Maybe your bloody benefactor should have considered that. I've gotten used to it by now. It will hold, trust me. I will. Well, I will have to, won't I? I don't fancy staying on this ship any longer than necessary. It's imperative we break free from this ice as quickly as possible. Hammond eyes you, a grimace on his face. First mate's here, but where's the one who got us into this bloody mess? I was hoping Templeton knew. I was informed by one of the Stokes that I had just missed him, but I have a suspicion as to where he may be now. We're on the ship, an unmoving one at that. The man cannot simply disappear. If he's anywhere, he must be in his cabin. Well, find the man. Give him an earful on my behalf. Can't do it myself. Too busy keeping us alive. Templeton gives a nod. I believe you and I both owe our good captain a fish at shore. But you should call the crew for dinner first. Routine is important, especially now. Not before we've fed this furnace. Mind grabbing some coal from the bunker shore? Or are you afraid of dirtying your hands like Mr. Templeton over there? Coal goes in, we stay alive. Really is that simple. Merge mid-deck to find the crew readying themselves for dinner despite the ice. Some seem nervous, others as if nothing has changed at all. Crew need feed for the week. The crew have their meal. The dinner is shared. The crew turn to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparations for the evening. You can't help but notice that it's still light outside. You didn't see him either. He didn't pass by, but his cabin door was locked when I checked. Slippery bastard. What are you thinking, Hunt? No sign of Hunt, I take it. Mr. Templeton passed by, but he wasn't exactly willing to take questions. One would think Hunt would be taking action at a time like this. Instead, the man has squealed himself within his office. An odd one. Keep it up, lads. We'll set ourselves right in no time. Aye, sure. I just saw Templeton entering the captain's cabin. Seems Hunt's hauled himself up inside. Maybe if you had a word with him, our good captain, he'd be willing to lend a hand. I was informed he was here. Where could he have hidden himself? At this point, leave the man. I'll handle matters. Despite Hunt's issues, there is still a chain of command. We cannot waver it so flippantly. The captain laugh rings out from behind the door. The captain watches you both, his head swaying as he chuckles to himself. You're a surprisingly difficult man to get a hold of, Hunt, seeing this is your ship. I know it well. Hunt eyes turn to you. I believe you two are already acquainted. How long have you been drinking? I don't suppose you care to join. Why'd I go sexy? The sexy voice. Yes. Hunt shakes his hip flask as he holds it out, whiskey sloshing and spilling from the top. And what of you, Shaw? I can't tempt you with some sweet nectar? I'm fine. You'll be more than fine with a drink, and you... Ah, well, your loss. You intend to offer drinks at a time like this? Your ship is trapped in the ice. It's my ship now, is it? And what do you expect me to do? Get the shovels out? Could have heeded Kurt's warning. Kurt, are you still hanging on his words? You would have some luck relying on that old lout. He's a man chasing a spotlight, nothing more. There is no safe passage here. This was always going to happen. Mr. Hunt, Captain... If you are not fit to stand, then you should retire for the night. Shaw will stand in your stead, and we can continue this in the morning. And abandon my duty? No captain would do that. Is a fit captain, wouldn't you agree? Well, not you. Sure, isn't that right? What do you think makes for a good leader? Making the difficult choices nobody else wants to make. Do you think you could live with yourself? They all act like the choice is the difficult part. The choice is easy, sure. Instinctual. It's not being able to sleep after. That's what they never prepare you for. But I'm serious, sure. To you, what makes a good leader? We don't have time for... In a word, then, what makes a good leader? Understanding. Explain. The ability to adapt to your crew, to understand the individual needs that make up the whole. And if those needs conflict, it's all well and good to think you can bend and twist and please everyone. Do you think you could balance that? Scorn a man one day and then appease him the next? Do you think that balances out? Which is more likely? Is he more likely to remember? Speaking in platitudes will do you no good. A good leader is something more than a single rule you are told to follow. When you see one, you just know. You've wasted enough time pining philosophical. Oh, my apologies. I'll ask the real questions. Sure, look at where we are. Do you honestly think we're going to survive this? I've no doubt we will. Well, I suppose someone has to carry faith with them. The captain laughs. Sure, nobody knows we're out here. That doesn't leave this room. No, wouldn't want to upset your employer. Our benefactor! We all want to be paid after this, don't we? Enough! If you weren't fit to lead this expedition, you should have not agreed to it. You shouldn't be. None of us should be here. Old Kurt paid handsomely to join. You're just a botanist sent to keep an eye on me, our doctor. And then there's me. Myself? You're the only one who should be here. Templeton opens the door. The captain needs his rest. We'll discuss this once he's of sound mind. Speak, Templeton. I wish to know more. It's all right, Robin. Go on now, Shaw. I'll be all right here. Appears to have fallen asleep. Captain Hunt needs his sleep. It would appear the pressure of command has greatly affected him. You should find yourself some rest as well. The crew have their accommodations. Clear your head and we'll continue this on the morn. I'm obviously talking a lot more than normal because I need a drink. You awake to a room awash with green. There's a loud banging on your door and a familiar voice speaks from behind the wall. Shaw, are you in there? Hammond, what's going on? What was that noise? The pressure! The boiler's in serious trouble. Pumps need manned, and we need to stop the whole system overheating, and I don't need you to tell you if the furnace goes, we do. Lead the way. We don't have a moment to spare. Right, let's move. We need to find the captain now. Kasha rushes up, holding a camera type in the ship. What's happening? Are we going under? Not if we can help it. Out of the way. It's safe to go up top, right? The Aurora. It's a shot I can't miss. Kesh steps back before snapping a photograph of the ensuing chaos. The lights of the Aurora flicker over the pale ice. The animals are barking furiously at the green light that has invaded their territory. Come, Stanberry. What is happening to the ship? Nothing I can't fix, don't fret. Then I shan't, Mr. Hammond. Have you seen the captain? I've been resigned to this room, and I'll have to stay as such. Least you wish to add a frightened kennel to your current problems. Nothing. Visibly perturbed, he takes a moment to compose himself. Even the tub is empty. Why would you expect him to be in the tub? Not important. This doesn't make sense. The man seemed barely fit to crawl himself into bed earlier. What? Hammond turns to you. All right, Shaw. Captain's missing. You're in charge. Good to hear. Don't get a big head about it. I should slow down with the spacebar. I'm just reading fast. Yes, indeed. The crew are no doubt waking at this moment. There's no scared, confused. It's your duty to keep them calm, to maintain order. Hammond glares at Templeton. It's Shaw's job to get down there to the boiler room now. We're already wasting enough time looking for the bastard Hand. If you storm down into that room, all you're going to do is incite a panic. We need to calm the fears of the crew, maintain an air of focus, lie to them as the ship goes down. Not at all. Instead, to assure them that we know how to remedy the matter. Do you know how to remedy this matter, Mr. Hammond? And we need to be quick. I don't have the time to worry about some stupid sailor's feelings. We've got a bloody ship to save. Well, it's as you said. Officer Shaw's in charge. The decision is yours. Hammond is right. We can't waste any more time. The boiler won't wait for us. Templeton's right. We need to focus on calming the crew. Hammond is right. We can't waste more time. The boiler won't wait for us. Fine. I will keep the crew at bay then. Mon, don't worry about him, lad. Let's go. Descend, 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 descend. As more of the crew notice you and Hammond descending, the whispers begin. Soon the crew pick up the pace, walking directionless with hurried footsteps. Kurt approaches. Boiler trouble, I take it. I'll lend a hand. Not when you're walking with that cane, you're not. I have enough strength to go tell the crew to hit the lower decks as many as possible. Let's go, Shaw. Time to save this blasted ship. You descend the ladder. Ahead you can see the brothers trying to open the door to the hold. Trying to get in, same. Door's stuck. Pull harder, you bastards. We need to get in there. Can you help us? The metal door unsticks. Grimly looks at you before darting off into the dark. What's that bloody idiot running off to? To sound the alarm. Bloody hells. Let's get moving. As you enter, Hammond's engineering team are hard at work. The larger of the two engineers lose grip of their valve as steam begins to shoot out, causing Hammond to dash forward. Watch it! Hammond tackles the engineer to the ground, saving him from a nasty steam burn. Made it just in time. What's the word, Chief? Keep those valves pumping. We need to avoid a water hammer or we won't make it off the ship. Sure! The rest of the crew aren't here. Grab a valve and start turning. You grab a valve and begin turning, trying all you can to keep the water at bay. Pump! You feel the ache in your muscles as you continue to push the valves, keeping the pressure at bay. Furnace rumbles and sputters, hemorrhaging fuel. You keep turning, doing your best you can to keep the pressure at bay. We could be all at this for hours. Shit, where's the rest of the crew? Brought help. Furnace rumbles and sputters. Get me coal and turn those valves. They grab the valve. They grab the valve. With enough hands working on the boiler, you begin to fight back the potential water hammer. Someone's going to have to hold the furnace in place. Gnome approaches the furnace. The room shakes. Water hammer! The jet of steam paints Pleck. It subsides as they wither in agony. You keep up the work, shifting the valves until the boiler has fully calmed. The ship is saved. You won't be sinking today. As the crew give assistance to the wounded Pleck, you feel your muscles tense. You fall back, collapsing from exhaustion. As you lay back, all you can hear a pair of panicked voices. Where the hell is Captain Hunt? He's gone. Decorum back, leaving only a bright light and white. I shouldn't be there yet. 1 week at Temperance Camp. You are alone in the captain's cabin. Out across deck can be heard commotion of the crew. Word has quickly spread that Captain Hunt is missing. Templeton slips through the door. Sure. What is it, Templeton? Hunt is still missing. Rufus Hunt is missing. And he isn't alone in that regard. Sanders, Sparrow, and Gren are also unaccounted for. As is a sizable portion of food and fuel supply and one of the large lifeboats. Sure, you and I are not naive. It seems quite clear what has happened here. Yes, but why would Hunt abandon us? That is a question I cannot answer. I doubt we'll ever know at this stage. The former captain is no longer with us. You understand what that means, sure. Hunt is still captain. I would care for you to enlighten me. A new captain must be selected by the crew. A first mate, you have the most clear argument to take that role. How do I argue for that role? Your presence in the face of Hunt's absence is an argument in itself. They will hold a vote as soon as possible. The carpenter Grimley, he is still loyal to Hunt, and many of the sailors will follow his voice, if not all, though I can assure you have the vote of myself and my scientists. Kurt and his crew are like to support you as well. I'm unsure where the engineers will side. They're likely loyal to their pay. Plek is still recovering from their steam burns, which may end up working in our favor. And the civilians are a mystery. But I believe with all is said and done, you will just about make the vote. Just about. My only competition could be dead for all we know. Loyalty runs deep among this lot. They're waiting outside, sure. They're scared. They don't know where to turn. You and I both understand the importance of maintaining decorum. Though times seem dire, remember, there is a rescue ship on its way. Even if the Temperance falls, we still have a potential escape. 35 weeks. The ship will arrive at Viscount Island in 35 weeks from now. We should focus on surviving that long. That is all we need to do, Captain. How can you be certain the ship will come? I can assure it. Our benefactor will ensure it. Another 35 weeks, Captain. Keep it in mind. Here, you should have this. Templeton presents you with a fancy-looking hat. Hunt's hat. He left it behind in his cabin. That tells us what we need to do. Take the hat. I choose to willfully observe reality. I suggest you do the same, Captain. The scientist refrains for a moment. Out with it, Templeton. I think it's best we declare the captain and the missing crew are dead. There is no need for us to complicate things further. I won't lie to them, Templeton. Leaders lie. Get used to it. The crew are waiting for you on deck. Last place you saw Captain Hunt. There are still drops of whiskey frozen. Hunt's ledger is gone. Ooh, shit. Hushed voices become more distinct as you make your way back out into the open air. You notice the absence of Plek. The crew members notice you and stop. Their attention ripples across the deck. Attention! It should be clear by now that Captain Hunt is no longer serving his post. As such, we should vote in the new captain. I nominate Officer Shaw for the role, the clear choice as first mate. And what of Hunt? I don't see him among us, do you? Don't see a body either. He's still out there. We don't know what happened. Something we can discover. For now, someone has to take the reins of command. All in favor of Officer Shaw. Start the voting. Sly Peck is wounded. Richard Templeton. And the scientists vote for me. The doctor votes for me. Kurt Darling and the scouts also for me. Grimley and those guys are loyal to Hunt. Robin and those guys are loyal to Hunt. The engineers are loyal to Hammond and they abstain. Ingrid Cordell, loyal to Cordell. Kasha Belford, loyal to me. You've been confirmed as the captain of the expedition. Well, the ayes have it. Shaw shall be acting captain from this point forward, acting in Captain Hunt's stead. The crowd look to you expectantly as Templeton gives you a knowing nod. A moment passes in the cold as they await your next words, curious murmurings scattering among the crew. Hunt is no longer with us. As they look at you, it's not long before the obvious question spills from a crew member's mouth. Where's Captain Hunt? Captain Hunt has abandoned us. You notice Templeton's eyes widen. Whispers begin to roil throughout the crowd. He appears to have left this expedition along with 3 missing crew and one of our lifeboats. A silence hangs in the air. I know you're all scared. You'd be a fool not to be. The crowd began to bubble up once more, with more and more questions coming to the surface. Members of the crew start speaking out one by one, the questions thrown your way in quick succession. How are we supposed to survive out here? Is help coming? What about our pay? Will we be paid? Still be paid? We'll have to rely on each other out here. None of us expect we can't afford. We can't afford to stand at each other's throats. Divided we are weak, but together we are stronger than the elements. I know this isn't what we signed up for. Stick with me and I'll see us through. What of the lost captain? Memorial service will be held once the ship is freed from the ice. Understood. Well, you heard the captain. Get to it! The crowd dissipates, returning to their roles aboard the ship. You pass Templeton. He glares at you. I told you, I won't lie to them. If we can't be honest with each other, what chances do we have? I hope you're right. He looks up at your new hat. Suits you. Sure. Or should I say Captain Sure. The hunt. He didn't seem the type to just leave his crew behind. Still, no good dwelling. I have confidence you'll take up the mantle. Do you have any experience leading expeditions? I've never captained a vessel, if that's what you mean. But the navigator has just as much responsibility to lead. In that sense, I have plenty. I suppose congratulations are in order. I hope you'd prepared for the task at hand, Captain. Did you see Hunt? If I had, I would have said as much. Though were I to wager, I'm certain that somebody aboard this ship has. It is unlikely the four were able to leave a landlocked ship without being spotted. Captain, now are you? As long as you aren't in my way any more than Hunt was, I'm happy. How's the boiler keeping? Well, we aren't dying, that's a relief. Don't know how well the furnace will hold. I'll keep her going as long as you aren't distracting me. Are you just going to keep standing there? Feed the furnace. There should be no hesitation, Shaw. You are the captain now and you must carry the authority instantly. It's best that we carry out the daily routine as normal. Show that you are capable in that role. We should take the day's requests immediately before seeing to our resources. You saw the duties of the captain firsthand while serving Hunt. You are acting captain now. It's time you take up that mantle. A line is already forming at the door. No surprises given the circumstances. Take them as you may, Captain. Curtin Cordell Hammond Jr. Saving the boiler was the only way to start. Was only the start of our troubles. Have you seen the state of the bloody ship? It's certainly seen better days. She's bleeding in the lower decks. He's an our Indian. Yeah, yeah. I believe the oldest stroke is attempting to rectify that. We need to stockpile as much fuel as we can. If the furnace runs out by the end of the week, we die. If we suspend too long on this ship, we die. If we don't stockpile enough fuel for the winter, we die. Aye. Get me some coal and get it in the furnace. I'm afraid he's not wrong. That coal bunker is our only source of fuel for the time being. Till we can procure alternatives, we should assign crew to shoveling whenever possible. Sure, the ice looks unbudging, doesn't it? It would seem that way, yes. Crews seem to think so. They think if we don't intervene, the Temperance will never get freed. If you're suggesting breaking the ice, I assure you won't work. I'm not. They are. I'm not. No intervention is going to break up the ice enough to free this ship. Putting ourselves to work on that is simply a waste of manpower. Maybe. They're scared, though, worried. They just want to feel like they've tried something. Should I use them here or use them later? Raise spirits, it's worth the attempt. Temple was right. We cannot waste crew on a pointless task. Understood. Best not sell false hope. It only leads to more disappointment in the future. I'll see you in dinner, sure. Don't forget the hoshpot needs fed. Curtain. Captain, I brought the kennel master with me. This is something you both want to hear. I have a strong suspicion on what that matter is. I was planning to speak with the captain on it myself. Fortune happens then. Captain, I knew the conditions well. I've seen them before. Any idea of the Temperance being freed of the ice any time soon is a pipe dream. We need to press on. We need to become aware of our new environment. Trust me, Captain, we'll be living off it for quite some time. And you, Cordell, do you agree? Indeed. The dog sled will need to be exercised regularly, and there is no better way than to engage in hunting. You're quite lucky despite the circumstances. Now is the peak time for hunting and navigation. And navigation? Traversing the ice may be a possibility in the future. We need to be prepared for that. If we're to survive out here, we need to know what lies ahead. These are uncharted territories, Captain. We have no idea where we are. Your current rations are not set to last forever either. Send any hunting party to me as you please. My dogs and I will ensure their survival. Cordell X's. That same sentiment for myself and my scouting teams. To wish the great unknowns to be brave and charted, I'm your man. We need to know what lies ahead. Keep looking forward. Before dinner you should see to sending out our first sledding team. I believe it's time you gave our good doctor a visit. We still have wounded from the night of the Aurora. Their wounds will need to be attended to before they are fit to work. And I doubt I need to remind you of this, but we need every hand available. Don't be afraid of assigning my team for some manual labor. They'll complain, but they'll work. You don't seem familiar. I finally placed you. You have you? Yes, I remember seeing you compete. Sona Kipler, you're quite the gymnast. I'm surprised to see you in this line of work. Shouldn't have done that when I turned my neck. What's wrong with my shoulder recently? I'm probably not doing it next. Need to do that exercise. Not many gymnasts carry long careers. You did quite well when I saw you at the Summer Games. I recall you placed. I don't recall winning. Hashtag winning. Can't believe Hunt is gone. What happened? Who knows? He was drunk. Whatever he was thinking, he definitely wasn't in the right mind. What about Smurf and Corvid and Joe? Who knows? Corvid owes me 5 glist. I don't think you'll be seeing it anytime soon. Robin Shaw recognized that name somewhere. At Royal Admiralty, right? Just a sec, I'm doing my stabbies. You've heard of me. Oops. I'll be right. Yes, I have. I think we served on some of the same ships. Probably wouldn't have seen me, though didn't get much time out of the engineering. Good to know the new captain has some experience. To the ship's infirmary. Your presence seems to startle the young man inside and rattle of dropped forceps ringing through the room. Oh goodness, it's you. I'm Captain now, isn't it? You're the doctor, I take it. Hmm? Oh, right. Yes, I am. Dr. Arthur Nuttall. Dr. Nutley. Dr. Arthur Nutley. It's good to meet you, Arthur. Are you having a spot of bother, Nutley? Collect you. It's good to meet you, Arthur. Nutley gives you. Thank you. It's good to properly meet you. I suppose I seem a little scatterbrained. It isn't the norm. Recent circumstances have been trying, and the inclination towards seasickness is not a help. Black, the steam burns they've suffered from the furnace are severe. If you let me take a look, I can do my best to alleviate their pain. Do you have any experience with something like this? Well, I've read extensively on the matter, but as far as first-hand experience goes, well, no, this is my first encounter. At this point, all we can do is wait. Natalie lets out a nervous Captain, do you think he still may be out there? There's a chance, however slim. Right. Perhaps we'll run into him again. No, that's ridiculous. Never mind. Apologies, I'm rambling. I suppose you want an update on the crew? They seem to be faring well, all things. I suppose you could say that. Mostly scrapes and scuffs. For the dogs, you're better asking, well, the kennel master. You mean Cordell? Yes, Cordell. I haven't taken well to the dogs. I'm unsure how to carry myself amidst people, and animals are quicker to judge. And Cordell herself is harsher still. But you can rely on me for any human medical issues. Nutley pauses for a moment. Is everything good? I mean, is someone coming to rescue us? Everything's under control. He nods expectantly. Nutley, is there anything else I can do for the crew? Put you there. Return. Very nervous man. Officer, Captain Shaw, I suppose I should get used to calling you that. I was asking the crew if anyone had seen Hunt or any of the other deserters last night. Not a single soul. I know the man knows this ship well, but that seems unlikely. Do you think the crew could be lying? I wouldn't accuse anyone of that, but it's unlikely that he wasn't seen by anyone. I suppose the boiler troubles caused a great deal of distraction. Find the Adelie penguin migration path. I just good job at dip shit. Pay attention to the sharp, pointy thing that is in your hand instead of the video game. Wow. Drugs. All the drugs are good for my system. Gosh, a big boy. I'll hunt him later, gators. Oh, 2. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Can't send them out. Well, what I can do is put a bunch of you scientist people. Oh. I think that's everything I can do for now. I don't need to do nothing. Yeah, I think that's everything. You get the day off. Crew have their meal. Shall we give a toast to our new captain? Hear, hear. The crew return to their posts. Hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening, despite the time still bright outside. Did you need me for something? Crew seems to like you. Won't have had any vice staying on their good side. Junior's better with people. I don't know. Be good to them. That's all it takes. Evening, sure. I'm proud of what I've been able to cook up for the crew lately, considering the rations, though I do wish I had something better to work with. Go for a good beef steak. You do excellent work, Junior. You have a knack for this. Been told, Hunt would say he couldn't eat a bite that wasn't prepared by me anymore. You're a tall one, aren't you? Oh, thank you for noticing. Been this big since I was 15. You ever considered doing films? You have the stature for it. I said that, dude. Oh, I can't act. Acting isn't part of it. You stand there, cut a nice silhouette, and you'll be a star. That sounds awfully easy, doesn't it? It can be. So tired. You'll get used to it, lad. It's far too much work. Thought you wanted to work. If I can do it with one arm, you can do it. You're always saying that, Looks like we'll be trapped here for a while. I don't like the ship's chances either. We'll be some time before we see home. Shit, I'm going to die of boredom out here before the cold takes me. You'll manage, I'm sure. Good evening, Captain. I was growing used to sleeping on a moving ship before we became trapped in the ice, you know. Now I think it wouldn't have a good night's sleep until we return to land. What you signed up for? I think it's something we can all look forward to. A good motivation then. I know a hot bath and warm bed are the first order of business when we return to land. I may stay bundled up for several days. Truly savor it. Thanks for stopping by. Bloody cold, isn't it, Captain? Don't know you should have spent your time away from the furnace. You go, you're used to the warmth of furnace, I take it. It would be even colder without your hard work, Hammond. I know. Can't tend to the furnace if you nabbing at me all night. Awfully loud, aren't they? I don't mind it all that much. They've worked hard all day, they owned their leisure. These sailors ought to remember we all need our sleep. Good evening, Captain. Was there something you needed? You needed the latest medical report, I have it prepared soon. Simply curious. Me? Oh, well, I'm nothing to be curious about, to be honest. I'm simply trying to get by, like the others. Good evening, Captain. It will be some time before we are rescued. Perhaps you should be endearing yourself to the crew. I'll spend more time with the sailors. That would be a good idea, Captain. Evening shore. Cold one, isn't it? I used to think I'd be growing used to the cold. Apparently, I can't keep an accent. But as the years have gone, the elements are only growing harsher on the body. Sure, you can handle it, Kurt. And you'd be right. I can still complain every now and then. Captain, sure. I presume you're here to see the dogs. Yes. How are they faring? They have already acclimatized, though recently they've been exhausted in need of rest. It's no surprise our conditions keep changing. They grow used to one state before being thrust into another. One refuses to eat and has been losing weight rapidly. I assume the change in scenery has affected it. They need their rest just as any person. They need to be more reliable, however. They tend to be more reliable, however. Are you speaking from experience? With people or with dogs? Regardless, I would say it's a matter of both. Captain Shaw, you recall my conditions with Hunt, do you not? Like it was yesterday. My demand was that I work here with the dogs. Your people may hate the sleds, but they are not my responsibility. They are not my people. I'm holding up my promise with Hunt. I do not intend to join your crew. How long have you been racing the dogs? Long time, sure. I've raced this pack since they were not but pups, and a generation before them. She goes quiet for a moment, petting Stanbury, collecting her thoughts. I wasn't exactly in the financial position on Hunt to pass on Hunts. I wasn't exactly in the financial position to pass on Hunts. To pass on Hunt. Okay. But I had no intention of leaving all of them out here without me. Woof. I'm going to do some minor spoilers. That is a terrible idea. Do not give the dog the hat. I'll leave it at that for now. Dogs arrested and available to spend another week on the ice. The ship holds belly. Gnomes was cured of their wounds. My dogs are grown restless. They had grown used to the stirrings of the waves against the ship. Now the sudden stillness has them unnerved. They'll grow used to it in turn. Indeed they will. The pack adapts. Can the same be said for us? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mr. Gloss, Mr. Nooms, Dasher. Good day, Captain. Well, as good as can be. Well, good day, Captain. Well, as good as can be under the circumstances. Good day to you as well, Cash. Well, I'll be sure to spare you any more obligatory small talk from here. In truth, there is something I've been meaning to ask you. It's a matter I brought up with Captain Hunt, though he was less receptive. I'm not merely interested in the story of the expedition. I'm interested in the story of the people on this expedition. When the crew have their downtime, I would request that I be allowed to conduct interviews with them. I would like to know more about them, maybe learn more about what happened to the Hunt. I see no issue there. Conduct an interview as you please. Thank you, Captain. You won't regret it. I'll mark anything useful I discover in the crew's manifest. Send them to the Red Room on the lower deck when you can. Word around the crew is that we might end up having to move to the ice, if we can't free the Temperance anyway. Would be wise to gather what we want to take off the ship with us if we do. Indeed, we'll need to prepare for what could be inevitable. Aye, most of the tools are in the lower deck storerooms. The metal doors need some work to open, but it's worth what's inside. Captain Shaw, Mr. Templeton. It would appear that some of the crew have taken an interest in the transmission radios we have on hand. It's likely many of their first times seeing this technology. Aye, and the odds of what they're capable of, they believe another ship may pick us up if we monitor them. Ridiculous! They do not have the range to pick up another. Not out here. I said as much, Mr. Turner. Hello to the other person that's joined. It's good to see you. I have another lurker in the chat. But Mr. Turner was adamant we spend the night monitoring them regardless. Even sent me to run the concept by you, Captain. It's worth the attempt, even if it's to assure the crew. If it won't work, it's a waste of time. It's worth the attempt. I think it's worth the attempt, even if it's just to assure the crew. Cost 3, but I need the decorum. It's worth it. Yes, Captain. It won't work, but at least that way the crew will be certain. At the end of the week, cash. Okay. Yes. Otherwise, they will ponder the alternative until we've all finished requests. A question persists as to how long the Temperance can hold. We will be able to wait out the ice. If there is no change by the week, abandoning the ship may be considered. Feel the air. Nothing better than the cold wind to keep us awake. You're an odd duck, Yorick the Third. How many hours of sleep did you get last night? Well, on second thought, better not hearing it. I already know it isn't enough. I think I've talked to everybody yet. And now I need to send them on to do their worky works. Everybody's good in there. Okay, do this first. Get them getting that food. Enter weapons hold. You, sir. The shotgun. And that. Oh, it flooded. Freezing. Two Johns, confirm your orders. Water flooding in from behind, you leave time to grab 2 items. Once per week, feed the hosh to gain 3 food for each with malnourished or scurvy. Tin food. Tin limon. Well, I should do this one first. 1, 2, 3. Up. Now we go up. Now we go to this. Now we do this one. They're actually busy at the moment. If I send the 3 scouts. 2 scouts. That'll do. You. Whittle penguin! Whittle penguin! So how's everybody's weekend been going? I guess this is the first time I can actually talk, to be honest. I haven't had much time elsewise in the game. Yeah, mine's been going pretty well. I don't know if it's not your weekend then. I apologize, but yeah, it's not been doing too badly, to be honest. Downstairs, what I think I might do is pump you out with one of you. Does it toast? Oh, it takes 2 people to pump. Confirm your orders. That's fine. Everybody should be good. Crew have their meal. The dinner is shared. Crew turn to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in the preparation despite the time. It's still bright outside. It's getting harder to play. The cold makes my fingers stiff. Have you tried playing close to the furnace? Not the same. Besides, Hammond would just throw the accordion in. Evening. Before we took off, Grimley and I stopped in a greasy spoon in the city. Their sausage and eggs were perfect, best I ever had. Now I'm trying to remember its damned name. It's left my head. Didn't take you. Why didn't you write it down? It was likely by the docks. Just look around once we return. You'll find it. If it's still there when we return, who knows when we'll be back? They could have closed down or fired their chef by then. You know, as far as rations go, this is good. Junior sure knows how to prepare dinner, doesn't he? He's too good for a ship like this. Feed the hosh pot. You're pretty old. You're pretty old, aren't you? Good eye, lad. Better than mine. Why are you still working? You should be at home with your you should. Why are you still working? You should be at home with your family. Don't have one. Do you not have any children? I don't know how to do his voice. Do you not have any children? Of course he has a children. He's your da. I might do. Don't know any, though. More of the same tonight. We'll have to get used to it. Not much you can do with the ice. We'll figure it out. Something, won't we? We'll have to. Captain! On evenings like this, my good friend Caroline and I would often play chess by the fireside. It makes me wish I had brought a board with me. It would have made for some light entertainment. Between you and a shame you didn't. I'd have enjoyed the game myself. Indeed. Well, we can't turn back the time now, can we? We'll just have to make do with what we have. Perhaps Mr. Templeton brought something along. He seems like the jigsaw puzzle sort. Anyone free for an interview? Oh, puppy. Grimly. I don't think that's. I think that's. No, that's another guy. Don't know the name of. That is Tucker. Nothing's going to get. Not going to get any rest anytime soon, are we? No, could have used more hands. I mean, it's worth 5, but even then. You ever get the feeling you're being watched? Sure. Couldn't shake the feeling there was a pair of eyes on me while I was working here. So I'm sure there's a terrible, undiscovered beast lurking in the mist. You're overworked. You should get some proper rest. You're bloody funny, aren't you, Captain? I'm not the superstitious sort, believe me. Anything? I'm afraid not. I didn't expect anything to come of it. Well, at least we can say we tried. Evening, Shaw. I've been thinking about our pay once we return to land lately. Don't mistake me for an avarice sort, but I do have expenses to pay. Before we depart, I received a letter from one of my daughters asking to cover the cost of her stage school. It would be a shame to promise a luxury only to retract it, don't you think? I wasn't aware you had a daughter, Kurt. 2, in fact, both with the first wife. Captain, if you find yourself stricken with boredom, I have a book I would recommend. A textbook of different classes of wildflowers. The topic is more interesting than it may seem. I assure you, I would enjoy that, Templeton. I will be sure to bring it to you when I have a chance, then. I am a British man. Captain, a word. I felt now a good time as any to review the wording in our contracts. You do remember what is written in your contract? Of course. Consider Article 3, and I quote, "The member of staff shall throughout the period of such expedition obey all commands of the captain and shall use his best endeavors to promote the success of the same." Let him continue. "And in the event of anything happening to the captain shall obey all commands of any member of the staff who shall be appointed by the captain in writing before his death." Let him continue. "It'll be understood that the rest of the staff shall hold the same relations towards any member of the staff so appointed as towards the captain, as appointed by the captain in writing before his death." What are you trying to say? The vote we held settled what is only a temporary arrangement in the eyes of the law. Even then, you only made it through by a hair. Unless you somehow managed to wrestle a written transfer of captaincy from Hunt before his departure, in the eyes of the law, you are simply acting in his stead with no legal recourse to call upon. This is a chance Hunt and the deserters are still out there. There is a chance. Should we be reunited, your captaincy will indeed be called into question. Templeton, why are you so invested in the captaincy? I am invested in the survival of this mission and providing aptitude guidance. You may presume an ulterior motive, but you know my reasoning is sound. The loyalty of the crew means everything. Get them on your side, Shaw. Keep them on your side. Sithi, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Remember my words, Shaw. I suggest you start with the Stoke brothers. It seems they speak for many of the sailors. The bow you spot Kurt, measuring for any changes in temperature. Still vast, no signs of change. He notices you and gives you a wave. Doubt we'll be moving any time soon, Captain. Of course, sometimes you never know with the ice. You should get some rest. I'll let you know if I find anything changes. See that you get some rest yourself. I will. But we have to be alert. In my experience, change comes fast. Take care, Captain. Good evening, Captain. Will this take long? The dogs are fed and rested, however, I dislike leaving them alone. Won't be any train. You've trained them well, there won't be any issue. That would be my hope, but you can never be too certain. Oh, should I do one more day? Yeah, I think I can do one more day. So one will probably get to the freezy, frozen, which I'll heal with something. Wounded by an elf seal on the sled hunt. 2 Johns has been cured of their freezing. Progressed to frostbite. Oh no! Demoralized. Minus decorum. Start next week. Week 6, 3 weeks at Temperance Camp. Cool. Well, I'll do that stuff later. The captain's cabin. The meeting. Templeton, Kurt, and Cordell and Hammond stand inside. Beginnings of the meeting. Well, Captain, it's been 3 weeks. Kurt tells me there's still no change in the ice. None, and the best I can estimate what change we will see won't free the ship. I predict the Temperance is more likely to be crushed under the pressure of the ice. And how long will that take? Few weeks at most. Fortunately, we may have to look at alternatives rather than waiting for the ice to break up. Certain it's a lost cause. You never know, but from what I've seen, I wouldn't take the chance. Leaving the Temperance and making camp on the ice is something we will have to consider. The longer we stay on the ship, the more fuel we'll have burned too, not to mention risking another boiler incident. Yes, the matter almost cost lives. Heating a smaller camp burns through much less oil. Without enough fuel to survive a winter, we're dead. Don't think I need to tell you that. I would not be quite so quick to pack up and move on just yet. And why is that? The ship is shelter, the shelter is safety. Currently, there are few hunting opportunities presented to us. We'll need to gather more food if we are to survive, and the ship provides a safe area to hunt from. Right, and most of the crew aren't ready to give up either. They're stubborn, just as any good crew should be. I would rather not play into stubbornness when lives are on the line. He has a point. Crew thinks we gave up too early, they'll resent the captain for it. Though we now have a serious bloody flooding problem. We do? Aye, you might not have noticed if you'd left your damn forecastle. It's safer to take the time to gather what we need before we leave, rather than raid the ship once we make ice. Well, the answer lies with the captain. Should we move off the ship this week? Not yet. We'll remain on the ship for now. Very well. When we remove the boiler from the furnace, that is when we'll make our move. When you're free, we're ready to go. Just go to the boiler room and give the order. Mr. Gott, we tried to use the radios to pick up any signals every evening for the past week. Nothing, I take it. Afraid not. As we expected. I have to say, though, I expected a worse reaction from the sailors. I suppose there's relief in trying a method knowing it's to be unsuccessful. And now they can move on to the next venture with little reservation. They are resourceful people, I must say. Well, I suppose anything that puts the crew's mind at ease is worth doing. Thank you, Mr. Glossley. Mr. Zack, I was summoned by Mr. Templeton. Yes, Mr. Isaac, this is regarding personal item. What do you mean? I felt it pertinent to let the captain know that you're carrying a weapon. Why did you bring a gun with you on an expedition, Isaac? Personal safety, of course. Perhaps this is my familiarity with expeditions, but I was surprised others did not bring an item to protect themselves. Many of the crew cannot afford such items to themselves. Captain, it is up to you on what to do with this revolver. With all due respect, this is my personal item, Captain. It is the captain's right to requisition any weapons on the ship that includes your own. That weapon will be more useful in the hands of Cordell for hunts. Very well, Captain, I understand. We would do well to avoid creating an imbalance of power among the crew. I doubt the sailors would take too kindly to such a thing. Sure, there's a rumor going around amongst the crew. They're saying the ship is haunted by the ghost of the captain. What a ridiculous trope. Aye, though you want to put a stop to it. Absolutely, we can't allow the rumors to run rampant. Crew won't be pleased you stopping the stories. It's better than allowing fear and superstition to run wild. Mast was damaged when the ship was being tossed a while back, Captain. Best get someone to fix it before the Temperance is freed. Ship could come loose any moment. Heading up to repair the mast is dangerous to us. We don't even know if the ship will sail if the ice clears. Would be worth it, though. I'd rather avoid that. Suit yourself, then. Captain, my dogs appear to be struggling on the deck. They require a more secure form of shelter from the environment. Dogloos, I believe they're called. Yes, I will require some hands to work on constructing them. It is for the health and safety of the pack. I'll put some crew to work on it. Thank you. We must be focused on getting the dogs to safety. Apparently, I've gone back to India. Without them, the crew stands little chance of safety themselves. How do people do this? Head to the boiler when you wish to abandon ship. I suggest we do so sooner rather than later. Return. Down here and do this. Oh, he's still available. That needs to be healed by the end of the week, doesn't it? Do that guy and that guy. The rest. Zoomy, zoomy, zoomy. Belly penguin. I have one research. Go and shoot something and make yourself feel better. Hmm. Fishes. Penguin! Penguin! I think that's everybody. I need to fill the dosh pot. The hosh pot. Oh. That's good. Well, they'll get healed and they'll be unfrozenite. Crew for dinner. Crew have their meal. Crew return to their posts, hammocks unfurled, the preparation for the eight despite the time it's still bright outside. And I swear when the hook came swinging, Captain Hunt had pulled me down. This was 5-6 years ago. I had no clue what was doing. Both of us nearly lost an eye that day. Some expedition Ward lost his arm. Half the time I don't think Hunt knew what he was doing either. It's quite the interesting man. Aye, he is. Did you need something? Just wanted to commend you both for keeping high spirits. Well, it's business as usual. I can still cook up a good meal. Nothing has changed. Worried about the vote, are you? Oh, is that it? Sure. Okay, I'm generally checking. Are you now? All right, let's leave it at that, Grimley. Nice of you to check in, sure, but I think it's time the crew called it a night. Grimley walks off. Pretty sure I'm not aware of a word of advice from, and I have nothing against you, but you sure don't know you either. It's going to take more than a simple pleasantries to earn Grimley's trust. Never had pancakes, sure. Served some for the captain once, and he started demanding every time. Can only have them early in the trip, though. Ingredients don't keep that long. Sure, you can make something with what you have. Now, that is a challenge. Don't know how that would turn out for us, sure. Miss the water. Got used to playing on a rockin' ship. Starting to feel sick when I'm off. I miss it myself. That sense of constant movement. Nothing else like it. You get it. Don't like stillness. I feel like I'm going somewhere. Hello! We've got another couple of people back. I'm pretty sure one of you is somebody I know. I'm not sure if the other one is. So, but anyway, hi in chat. If you wish to say hi, I'm just playing through this at the moment. So a lot of reading, and I'm not super involved with stuff. I'm just playing through the game. So I'm reading out the characters and trying to do silly voices. One of Templeton's team tried to talk to me while I was working. They were going on and on about their spouse or something. Ended up telling them to fuck off. They think they got the message. You have full permission to do so anytime your work is interrupted. Man, if only I had that permission in real life. Didn't need permission, but I knew you'd understand. Feed the furnace. No, I don't want to. Not with literal food. There we go. Talk to this one. I wonder how my editor will find my report in this finished state. It was a nightmare getting my plague story published. Only the Daily Appeal was willing to pick it up, and they were hardly the most reputable of papers. Did wonders for their reputation. After your award, I'm sure any other paper would take you on. That's true, but I don't know if I'd accept. The Daily Appeal is far from a perfect newspaper, but they trusted my writings when no other did. Faith like that shouldn't go unrewarded, I think. Can't talk to the doctor. It's rather morbid, sure, but our last conversation had me wondering about those children of mine. Specifically, I wonder whether I ever see them again. It's not something you should imagine, I know, but the threat always exists on these expeditions. I signed on knowing that. We need to carry that. Be proud to have a famed explorer for a father. Are you close with your children? Not at all, and not as close as I should be. Even the youngest is grown now, sure. My time to be a parent came and went. I chose the ice. Evening, Captain. Have you been reading the textbooks? I understand if you do not have the free time. I've been reading. It's quite an interesting topic. Good. I hope you'd enjoy it. I suppose the topic does provide an escape from the ice as well. Anybody else to talk to? I think I've got to go upstairs. What do you have in your pocket? What does it matter to you? Hunched over, clutching something. It's suspicious. I'm holding an egg. An egg? Why? Keep my hands warm. Boiled egg keeps heat. That is actually rather ingenious. We know the cold better than you lot anyway. Still no signs of change, I take it. Afraid not, Templeton. The ice is yet to budge. Move to the ice blocks more and more to Moving to the ice blocks looks more and more necessary as I see it. You may just be right, chum. Your team of scouts best be keeping their focus. If we cannot find a way from this pack, the two notice you. Ah, Captain, I wouldn't worry about the ice. My team will find a path, I have no doubt. At ease, Kurt. You're doing a good job. Thank you, Captain. I promise my team won't grow lazy. This is certainly not the place for it. The building next to my kennels would often play music on a phonograph. I would hear it through the open windows for months on end. I would hear it as I worked. Over time, I'd grown used to it. Perhaps you can pick up the habit once more. That is not needed. I would not attempt to impose in such a way. I'm not sure what I'm doing. The dogs need rest, as do I, as do you. Anyways, I will end this week. Hopefully nobody frickin' dies. I'm pretty sure I've done everything right. He should be cured. Drop that down to normal. 2 crew available. 5 Emperor. Wake Nike in the wind. Tashi was cured of their frostbite. Quincy was cured of their wounds. Cured of the malnourishment. Flossie raised their spirits. Speaking to Kasha is no longer malnourished. Zach is demoralized. Decorum -5. Well, I will hit start next week, but this will be the end of it. I will continue later on, I guess. Week 4 of the Temperance Camp. Week 7 in total. I need to make my spirits happier. Anyways, thanks for coming. Thanks for this. It's been a bit chiller today. I actually think this one went well. If you've enjoyed it, please leave the like and the comments and the subscribes and all the good things, because we are definitely still in need of branding, and that would definitely help. But I think I might actually continue with this. I don't know whether it'll be next week, or maybe I'll do it on the Thursday or the Wednesday. I'll still do the Dark Tide thing and that. But yeah, I might continue to play through this game. Might be something new to do. But as always, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you next time. And yeah.